Maybe you're like me. I keep having this same experience. I go to make music thinking I'm going to make a simple sketch. And then hours go by, and I'm still ironing out the details of what sound, what pattern, or what chord. There's absolutely a time for this, but I want my music making session to be filled with as much actual music making as possible. The kind of stuff that allows me to get lost in the magic and inspiration. The actual satisfaction of the sounds and textures and colors. I've started thinking of this part of the process as the harvest, harvesting the musical garden. And I think of everything else as the planting of the seeds and nurturing of the plants. These are things like programming drum patterns that connect and build from one to the next with ghost notes and velocities, or building chord voicings, where I've overturned every rock to find the most interesting movement from one voice of the chord to the next, or ironing out the most choice notes from chord to chord in a melody or a bass line. I started doing all these non-harvest activities separately, and it has been really liberating. It has made music making, specifically making tracks, a lot more fun. The seeds I planted and the garden it has become have grown into a full ecosystem, and I decided to make it available to you as well. It's what we're going to use today. It's called Vible Volume 1. You can get a copy on my website, jaronlopez.com. You'll find the link below. Nothing takes me out of the flow faster than trying to make a drum track feel organic by making endless adjustments to velocities and grid placement. A super powerful part of this garden, aka Vible Volume 1, is Drum Accelerator Volume 1. Drum Accelerator bails me out of this tedium by giving full collections of drum patterns built on a rhythmic nucleus, a seed rhythm that grows into complete arrangements. Every collection begins with a foundation groove, and each pattern adds a layer of detail and nuance. Let's check out Nucleus 2 from Tempo Zone 1. We'll start with pattern A1. Now that we've got a groove, let's go over to my favorite part of the garden, Chord Accelerator Volume 1. If you don't play keys, Chord Accelerator is going to change your game. With one finger, you can inject the tastiest chords into your music. But even if you play keys and are familiar with the world of harmony, you will be surprised at what it does to your musical brain when instead of using the entirety of your hands to play chords, you only use one finger at a time. It's been making me think more orchestrally. Being able to command the entire keyboard range with one finger frees my hands and mind to explore lines, shapes, and patterns. In a future video, I'm going to explore triggering an entire orchestra or synth ensemble with one key at a time in a kind of ultra accompaniment concept. Let's go with Nucleus 8. Now we can explore this palette of chord voicings in a single key format. Let's hit record and play something. Now, I will drag the captured clip onto my instrument track. We have our chords with all of the notes fully fleshed out. I want to use this as a jumping off point, so let's sculpt it a little bit. I want to hang glide over top of this progression with common tones. So to give ourselves a little more room on top, let's transpose down a minor third so that we are moving between C minor 11 and E flat minor 11. Let's find those common tones using another part of the garden, Melody Accelerator, which is like a turbo scale mode. It doesn't just show you the notes that exist in the general key of the project, it follows the chord progression specifically, showing you the notes that are the best melodic choices for each chord, which is really what is useful. We'll play the same clip we used to trigger Chord Accelerator, and now we've got palettes of colorful notes that we can use as raw material to weave a line through. B flat and F are the common tones, the notes that carry straight through the entire chord progression. These are the notes I'm going to pair with the chords. All right, we've got a groove, we've got chords, and a melodic component. We need bass. Let's go over to the last part of our musical garden, Bass Accelerator. Since we used Nucleus 8 for the chords, we will use Nucleus 8 Bass Simple. We'll use the same clip we used to trigger Chord and Melody Accelerator, and now we have blocks of notes to tunnel a bass line through. Let's start with the root, C, then the fifth, G, then the root down an octave, C. Then let's cycle back up through those notes, the fifth, G, and the root, C. Then, for the next chord, we'll drop down to the root, E flat, then up to the fifth, B flat, then the ninth, F. Then we'll cycle through the fifth, B flat, and the root, E flat. And whether you know what those terms root, fifth, ninth mean or not, you can tunnel through the harmonic blocks just the same, letting your ear guide you through the notes that Bass Accelerator gives you. Okay, now that we've got a full groove, let's get a bit of an arrangement or song structure going by reaching back into Drum Accelerator and getting another pattern from the same seed rhythm. Drum Accelerator is awesome for this. Without having to dive into the pattern and spending a half hour at minimum tweaking the drum pattern into something with more energy that we can use as a second section, we can just grab another pattern from this same nucleus. Let's go with pattern A9. Every pattern within a nucleus shares the same rhythmic DNA, so everything that we already have will be working great. But now we will have more layers of detail and nuance. And these new details are exactly where I'm going to etch more rhythmic resolution and syncopation into my bass line. Pattern A9 maintains the same rhythms of pattern A1, but we now have these additional kick drums that are distributed around the initial kicks in a complementary way. In pattern A1, the bass was free to dance in this open space. Now in pattern A9, there is a kick drum rhythm in this space, and the bass line would be stronger if it danced along with this rhythm. Let's create a variation of the bass line by synchronizing the bass with the kick rhythm. Let's shift this note and this note to line up with the kicks, and we'll do it with this note as well. A super small change, but now this bass player and drummer are locked in. This is what brings music to life. Even if they are just tracks in a DAW, thinking of them and treating them like players in a band or ensemble is what elevates it from a track to music. Now that we have these two sections with contrasting energy, let's make the piano part reflect this change of energy. We can save playing both common tones for the higher energy section. We'll call it section B. And then we can use just one of the common tones for the lower energy section. We'll call it section A. The magic here is that we haven't created anything new or changed anything. All we are doing is omitting a note. and it feels substantially different, but still just as connected. This is what I love about this seed method that Vible brings to life. You don't have to tinker with ghost notes, deliberate between this note or that note of a chord by trial and error, fiddle with an EQ before realizing that your bass note is just too low or not even supporting the chord progression. All the busy work is already done, which means you can save your creative energy for capturing the moments of inspiration and nuance when they come your way. Now, let's get melodic. Let's discard the analytical and give this jam a musical voice. If any of this rang true to your music making experience, then give the gardening approach a shot. Spend time apart from your creative or artistic efforts to do the things you know decrease your state of flow. Music making in the computer age doesn't have to be data entry. Set yourself up for unobstructed creativity. If you want to use my musical garden, then get a copy of Vible Volume 1. It comes with chord accelerator, drum accelerator, bass accelerator, and melody accelerator. You can get it at jaronlopez.com. You'll find the link below. Until next time, farewell.